Wow, Manchester City have been referred to an independent committee by the Premier League after allegedly breaching over 100 financial fair play rules. This came absolutely out of nowhere yesterday. It kind of came with no noise, no speculation, no one of the sort kind of knew, and it seems like even Manchester City didn't know. And obviously, Manchester City got fined and kicked out of the Champions League in 2020 by UEFA for allegedly breaching financial fair play rules. However, that got overturned by the Court of Arbitration for Sport after they found that Manchester City had not, in fact, broken any rules in line with UEFA's regulations. So, I didn't want to make a video straight away yesterday when I found out about this because I kind of wanted to see, I wanted to read the Premier League's full statement. On the other hand, I wanted to read Manchester City's response and reply to this. I kind of wanted to see how the situation would unfold. And I'm making the video now because I think there are three outcomes, I think, in how I see this ending. Is that, first of all, Manchester City get found completely innocent, none of the charges stick, and we will carry on. 2, Manchester City get found guilty of all the charges, and they get the book thrown at them. And 3, and I think this is going to be most likely, is that Manchester City are going to get found guilty of breaking some regulations, but I don't think all of them. And since there are over 100, you think that, I don't know, unless there's background things going on or some new information that comes to light, that you'd expect at least one of them. You'd think over 100, and you think at least one of them should stick. If the Premier League are deciding, do you know what, now's a good time, and now is the time to bring it up and review Manchester City to an independent committee. And the ones I feel most sorry for at this moment in time are Manchester City fans, because often as fans of football clubs, you don't have control and you don't have power to really influence the decisions that go on in your club. I mean, of course, you can make your voice known in the stadium, you can make your voice known online and through calling in bigger stations like Sky Sports. You can also protest, you can walk out, you can do all sorts of things, you can boycott. However, none of this really makes a massive effect to owners, especially of owners of Premier League clubs who have deep pockets, who can really just ignore the noise if they choose not to. And it's the fans who I feel most sorry for right now, because same in the hypothetical, let's explore option 1. Manchester City get found guilty of all of the charges. Then of course the book is going to get thrown at them. People are going to jump on them and say Manchester City need to be kicked out of the Premier League, then be kicked out of the Football League, then you get fined, Pep Guardiola needs to leave, they need to sell all their players, and absolutely the worst thing's going to happen to them. But the fans who have done nothing wrong, what punishment? You're punishing them as well as the club, but all they've done is just supported their team. And this is where I find punishment for football clubs so difficult, because yes, maybe an owner, maybe some board members and executive level decision makers have messed up. Like, they try to get away with something, and maybe they intentionally or non-intentionally, no one can really know the full intention, but they might have screwed up and they might have cost the club, and in this case Manchester City, quite big. And there's going to be so much pressure, and you can already hear the voices, Sky Sports I think reporting that other Premier League clubs, if Manchester City are found guilty, that's always to remember, they haven't, just because the allegations have come to light, they haven't been found guilty, they're just allegedly at this moment in time. And if Manchester City are found guilty, then there's going to be pressure, and apparently it's the other rivals of Manchester City in the Big Six, as people like to refer them to as. And as you can imagine, that's understandable, because Manchester City are such a dominant footballing presence at this moment in time in the domestic English Premier League as well as in Champions League. And I know, of course, they haven't won the Champions League, but like probability, they're going to win it soon. So of course the Manchester City rivals who are gunning for them the hardest, and obviously fans of other clubs as well. But also, if they're found guilty, then what do you do about everything that's gone on beforehand, from when they've been taken over up till now, the countless trophies they've won, the memories they get created? I mean, arguably the Premier League moment, like the best ever, was Aguero scoring that 90th minute and injury time winner against QPR back in 2012, was it? And you've got the iconic Martin Taylor commentary just shouting Aguero, and the fans going crazy, and you've got clips of like Paul Merson on Sky Sports News reacting to it, doing the commentary for the Soccer Saturday at the time, and the memories, the trophies. What do you do about all that? Because as a Liverpool fan, that means maybe we win the Premier League trophy for 13-14 season. Maybe we win it for the 2 times we come second to Manchester City under Jurgen Klopp, in which we run them close. Man United, get a Premier League trophy under Solskjaer. Maybe Jose Mourinho gets a trophy. Maybe Spurs get a League Cup. And what happens to all those finals Manchester City have been to in domestic competitions? And then it taints the whole thing of what they've achieved so far. And again, it comes back to, it's the fans who have to pay the price. Because if you're sat around the table with your football mates and your one Man City fan goes, oh, I remember winning the Premier League. And then everyone else can go, yeah, but you cheated, didn't you? And then you can't fully enjoy it, even though you have these memories. You remember exactly where you were on the day where you signed X player, and you remember where you were when you won this title, whether you're at a stadium, at home, at the pub with friends, whatever. You can never look back on those memories with any fondness, and they'll always be tainted. And that's why I feel sorry for Manchester City fans if the allegations are found to be true. But then you got the opposite side. Say they found completely innocent. There's still going to be fans of other clubs who are saying, well, there's no smoke without fire. UEFA found you guilty in 2020, got it overturned. The Premier League found you guilty in 2023. Maybe you get this overturned. What happens then? Because it feels like with Manchester City especially, because they had a big injection of money initially, that people are just gunning for them at this moment in time if they get found innocent. UEFA, the Premier League, who else is going to find something next? The FA is going to have an issue with Manchester City next. And I kind of wanted to see, if they're found innocent, a line drawn in the sand of going, okay, we've investigated, and 2 different parties investigated. The Court of Arbitration for Sport have investigated, and they found Manchester City guilty. I would kind of want to just forget about it at this moment in time, because it can change the past, but it could arguably change the present and the future. And Manchester City at this moment in time aren't going anywhere if things are found to be innocent and none of these charges stick, because their owners have deep pockets. We know this, and it's likely that they're going to continue investing. With Pep Guardiola and the current Manchester City team that they have now, and you see the young players that are coming through. They don't even need to buy players anymore. The likes of Rico Lewis coming into the team now, who's just right back, left back, defensive midfielder. He's doing amazing at this moment in time, and I'm sure Man City have so many more in the academy, such as Delap and the striker who's gone out on loan, and I think they've got a few others as well who are really, really good. But the most likely outcome I think is going to happen is some of the charges are Manchester City going to be found of committing, and some of them they're not. And then it opens up a whole grey area of what punishments do you give them, and because they've got to reflect the punishments, the breaches in the Premier League rules that Manchester City broke. So is it worth a point deduction? Is it worth a fine? Is it worth being kicked out of the Premier League? And then it becomes open for interpretation, and I think that's the worst thing that can happen, because some people will say you should have this. Manchester City fans will obviously argue that, oh no, it should be more on the lenient side. And then, I don't know, it's such a difficult one. It is such a difficult one. And again, I just come back to the fact that I feel sorry for Man City fans. I've said it so many times, but what can you do about this? Because you didn't ask to be taken over by this super wealthy owner. They came to you. They decided they were going to do this to Manchester City. I don't know. I really don't know. I hope for the integrity of the Premier League that Manchester City get found innocent of breaching financial fair play rules, because if they did, then I think it just taints the whole Premier League, because you've seen the likes of Juventus have point deductions like 10-15 years ago. You've seen them having point deductions again, and the whole Premier League just kind of loses credibility. And I'm not a fan of Italian football. I don't watch it. I don't have a team I support, but I'm assuming other teams and other fans of Serie A are just looking at Juventus like, great, you cheated, but how are you going to reconcile for everything you did wrong? Where are the memories going to go? And I think that's a whole separate issue, which I didn't even know how to explore at this moment in time. I think we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Thankfully, it's going to be an independent committee and an independent panel are going to be appointed to oversee it. And hopefully, I just hope the right outcome comes out, whatever that may be, so we can all just either move on and Manchester City are still part of the Premier League, or, they get found guilty and, they're going to have to pay a consequence if they are found guilty. And this hasn't happened before, so that they need to be set as a precedent, and they need to get a strong reprimand for this in whichever way that may be. I think if they were found guilty, I would say I would want them. I don't know. I want them to be kicked out of the Premier League, I'd say, because I think a financial penalty is nothing for their owners, and I would say I would want them relegated to League 2. I've seen some people who say they should go to the bottom of the football pyramid and work all the way up from grassroots. I don't necessarily think, if found guilty, that the punishment should be that extreme. However, I think relegated to League 2, so the bottom of the league football pyramid, would be right. But again, I don't know, because it's so subjective. Because it's, like I said, this hasn't happened before. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts on the matter. I wanted to make this video because I didn't want to just dodge the topic because everyone's talking about it, and I think the way to do it is to talk about it and talk about it openly and try to come to some consensus in the footballing community. So hopefully I haven't waffled on for too long, and what I said makes sense and you guys can understand where I'm coming from. Let me know what you guys think. If you're a Manchester City fan watching this, please comment what do you think is going on at this moment in time, because I don't have any friends who are Manchester City fans. I don't know what you guys are thinking. Do you think this is going to be brushed aside, you've done nothing wrong? Are you worried that some of these might be legitimate and you're going to get punished as a result? What are you guys thinking? Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one.